And they usually get at least one transaction from every single listing that they circle prospect around.
So the big question is, what are top agents doing to absolutely crush it in real estate? To get the answers, we interview the top real estate agents to learn their secrets to success. If you would like one-on-one access to over 26 of the top agents in the country to help you scale your business, then head over to eliteagentsecrets.com/partner, or you can just click the link in the description below. My name is Andrew Dunn.
And my name is Peter Michael. Welcome to Elite Agent Secrets.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Elite Agent Secrets show. Today we are joined by Amy Downs. She's been in real estate for 26 years, serving the Northeast Texas area and Oklahoma. She has done over 2,200 deals in her lifetime. She has 13 team members also. And in the last year, 2021, she did north of 100 deals. So it is fair to say Amy knows how to sell some fucking real estate. She's been in the industry a long time, so we're going to learn some of her secrets to success. Today, we are going to be talking about Sphere, hiring talent, and selling listings for top dollar. Amy, thank you for coming on the show with us today. Share your secrets to success. How are you doing?
I am fabulous. How are you?
We're doing great. We're great. We're excited to have you on. Our listeners are excited to listen to you. You've got thousands and thousands of people listening to you. So let's make it a great one. No pressure. You're like, I'm a bit nervous. Don't worry about it. So we like to start this, Peter.
I say we like to keep things super casual, right? And as we kind of kick things off, we always want to give our audience a little bit of context of how you got to where you are today, because I'm sure it happened overnight. Mm-hmm. Overnight, it just took 26 years. So take us back to day one. Let us know how you got started. What did your first year look like? Did you just come out of the gates, closing left and right? Or did you have a little bit of a rough start?
Well, I was actually working for a property management company and managing all their commercial properties. And my boss offered me to get my real estate license. And I was super young. I didn't even know what a realtor was, had no idea what they could do, what it looked like. So I got my license. He said, well, you're not going to make extra money. And I was like, okay, well, that's crazy. So then he dared me or told me that I would never make $100,000 selling real estate. So I was like, oh, yes, I will. So I left that job and I got into real estate in July of 1996. I actually made $72,000 from July to December my first year. So I jumped right in.
Holy shit. Just to prove a point. I love it.
Into real estate because you're so stubborn. You're like, fuck you. Yes, I can. So
Exactly.
I'm changing.
Exactly.
I absolutely love that. What was take us on a bit of a journey? I know 26 years is a hell of a long time.
Long time.
Roughly, how is your business? Is it grown? Have you had lulls? Take us on a very fast journey over the last 26 years.
Yeah, so the first 9 years I was with a very traditional brokerage. I had a small team. I had a partner at one time. At that brokerage, after year 9, we were number 1 in the entire company. So I was like, where do I go from here? Like, I can't go any further. So I started looking at my options, and that's when I talked to Keller Williams, joined Keller Williams in December of 2004. With the traditional brokerage, you're kind of branding that brokerage. So their phone number is on your signs and on everything you do. So any calls that I was getting when I was at the traditional brokerage were going to my brokerage, not to me. So when I left that brokerage in 2004, I started my full year at Keller Williams in 2005. I doubled my business that year, tripled my business the following year, and it just kind of grew from there. Then I went into more of a leadership role for a couple of years, decided I did not want to be in management, jumped back into real estate full time, started over, did every single role that there was in real estate. So I could relearn, what does an admin do? What does a buyer specialist do? What does a listing agent do? So I could actually build systems from there. So that was in 2005. Business was great the whole time, had small teams, had a bigger team. Then in 2019, I felt like business was really growing because, after you're in business so long, you get more and more repeat and referral business. So I was driving like 2 hours one way for a listing appointment or to show a buyer. And I realized I cannot keep physically doing this and doing over 100 transactions a year myself. So I really need to learn how to hire people and find people that have the same mission, vision, and values that I have, so I could duplicate that in other territories to where I wasn't the one driving. So back in 2019, I partnered with, at the time, it was Experience Real Estate, Chris Suarez. I don't know if y'all are familiar with him, but he had an expansion team. I went to his training and decided, wow, it would take me 3 years to build all of these systems, tools, and models to duplicate and expand in those territories. So started talking to him about partnership, partnered with Chris in August of 2019. In February of 2020, right when the pandemic started, Ben Kinney and Chris Suarez co-founded Place, which is now a huge expansion organization. Since then, I went from in 2019 doing all the listings on my team and having one buyer's agent and 2 admin to now be phasing out of production and just managing my partners on my team, which are my agents, and then running a very highly effective operations team.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Just I was like, I've got a process. You've gone from like nothing, you relearn it, back up, and you're just growing more and more. It's like, whoa, we've got to process all this. So you've done everything. You've been there, you've been through it all, and you're now out the other side, full on leadership, team growth. Obviously, we said during your introduction, a team of 13 now. So I'm curious, actually, and this is usually something we talk about a little bit at the end, but like you're now in leadership and you've got your team. What's your goal then now? Now you've kind of, seems like you've done it all. Like what's your dream now? Is it to get like a huge team and hit like $1 billion in sales, or what's the goal?
So my goal I'm going to say end of 2023, I want to hit 2.5 million in GCI that year. Once you hit 2.5 million in GCI, you're vested with Place. So that's my goal. And then to be able to bring on more people and create more success stories, that's what's really important to me right now. Is I didn't have all these systems when I was in the 90s and early 2000s. We didn't have all these things. And being able to bring an agent that's brand new onto my team and get them to a 6-figure income the first 12 months is like the greatest thing for me. That's my goal, is to get every single person that partners with me up to a 6-figure income their first year and to grow that from that point forward.
I'm not sure if you know this, but the mission statement of Elite Agent Secrets is every agent should earn at least 6 figures a year. That's our mission statement.
I did not know that. They should.
So
There's no reason to be doing it if you're not earning that. Like, I don't understand why you would.
This is exactly our point. So this is literally why we built this whole podcast and give it all away, because we believe that every agent should earn at least 6 figures, because why would you do it if you're not? Like, there is a lot easier things out there where you could earn, 45K a year, So when it comes to, I think another question before we dive into your topics that I have specifically about your growth, you've obviously been growing a lot and helping agents succeed. One of the common questions we get is actually about the lead generation side and like how you've been generating business and how your agents, maybe your new ones, are also generating business. When you first started out and maybe more recently to do, hundreds plus deals a year, I know you said you are leveraging more referral and repeat now because you've been in it for so long, but what are the lead generation strategies you do use outside of referrals to get business coming in? And maybe for newer agents, what do you get them to do to get deals coming through?
Currently, we basically, all of our leads are warm. We do not buy any leads. So, all of our leads stay within our system. We have what's called a pond. So we've been adding leads to that pond for years. There's probably 6-7 years worth of leads in there. And the older the leads are, the better they are. So we're all about just keeping in touch with all of those leads, because a lead does not respond or set an appointment typically until the 12th time that you reach out to them. So it's really just teaching our agents to stay on top of them and turning that database over. So making sure that you contact every single person in there at least, we lost him, at least every 3 months. So someone on the team is contacting them at least every 3 months. So we're always staying top of mind. Our agents are able to pull 50 of those pawn leads out at a time. So once they go in and call those 50, they usually get at least 2 or 3 buyers or sellers from every 50 out of that pawn. So we don't really pay for any leads. We do require our agents to do open houses, and we have an open house legion lever that they have to go in and circle prospect around the neighborhood and put everybody into our CRM to keep in touch with them. But as far as legion, it's really just working that pond, open houses, and just making sure that everybody stays in contact with every lead that's came in to our team. We have over 5,800 leads in our database.
Wow, that's actually pretty creative. And you have a whole lot of leads. But when it comes to like circle prospecting and open houses, how do you combine both of those strategies? Are you saying go door knock and focus on where you go and have the open house and get the neighbors coming in? Or because I have built most of my business pretty much on internet leads. So when I hear circle prospecting, it's just a familiar term. It's not something that I've done personally because all I've done was internet lead generation. So how do you combine both of those avenues?
Well, all of our agents, when they do the open house, we have a virtual assistant that pulls lists for them. So once we know on Monday which home they're going to hold open, they're responsible for calling 100 homes around there. When the listing sells, they go back and they call them again once we get a contract, because right now we're getting 10 plus offers on every listing. So they call them the first time and they invite them to the open house. They let them know this is probably going to be your only opportunity to see the property is this weekend because it's going to sell this weekend. Once it goes under contract, we may have 10 offers. Well, then they can call them again and say, we have 10 buyers looking for homes like yours. Have you thought about selling? Or do you know anybody in your neighborhood that might be thinking about selling? We actually sold this home for 10% over list price. What is a price that would make you want to sell your home? Is there a specific price that you have in mind? So it's just asking those questions. And then once it closes, going back and calling them again. So they get 3 calls for every open house in that neighborhood with different scripts depending on what happens during the process.
Hey, I just wanted to jump in here and let you know if you would like access to over 26 of the top agents in the country to help you scale your business, then head over to eliteagentsecrets.com/partner, or you can just click the link in the description below. Now back to the show.
And I know, thank you for sharing that. And I know one of the things that everybody's thinking is like, where do I get the list? How do I know what people's numbers are? How do I get their contact information? So do you have like a preferred source where you source those contacts?
Yes, we use Mojo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
perfect. That's what we use here too.
Yeah, we use that, and our VA will actually pull the list for them. So he pulls it, puts it in their account so they have it. And then twice a month we have circle prospecting around a just sold, or we give our agents a list and they have 2 hours they call on call night. And then we have inventory creation day the first week of the month where they're just calling around different neighborhoods that we've sold homes around as well. So we're always calling around, and we get a lot of business from doing that because people just don't know. It's all about educating the consumer on what the market looks like, and they don't know what they don't know.
That's awesome. Just out of curiosity, do you do like just listed mailers, postcards, or anything like that other than the just sold ones?
Not just listed. Sometimes we will run a Facebook ad to target that neighborhood or that area for a new listing, especially if we have an open house, because if we do the open house ad in Facebook, we get a lot more traffic, and we're typically getting anywhere from 20 to 40 leads from just running like a 3 to 4 day listing Facebook ad. Those get really good traction.
First 5 deals.
Those are our secret sauce. So like I just ended up listing a property, and that's exactly what we've done is we're marketing that. We're setting up a campaign. From the campaign, we're basically inviting people to the open house. The one thing I haven't done is I still can't get over it, but Brad knows this, Andrew knows this, is biggest fears that I've had is like door knocking / cold calling and having kids. I got over the having kids. not so much about the door knocking and cold calling.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's probably why I haven't done circle prospecting. I mean, so from that perspective, you have a lot of leads, you have your ponds. One of the things that I really like about what you're saying is you're not doing one thing, but you're actually stacking the stats. You're stacking all the different things that you're doing to essentially increase the odds of you getting the outcome that you're seeking, right?
Exactly.
So you're calling, you're inviting them to the open house, you're circle prospecting. How do you pick your circle prospecting areas or your farms or your neighborhoods? Is there a method to the madness?
Yeah, we just really do around our listings, basically. So we have so many agents on our team and we're in a huge territory, so they all cover different areas. So they get to pick who wants to do what area, and they're responsible for calling around that neighborhood. And they usually get at least one transaction from every single listing that they circle prospect around.
Wow. Those are actually pretty good numbers as you amplify that. That's okay. So as we're kind of diving in for working your SOI from your search, from your immediate sphere, do you do anything differently? Do you have certain methods on working your sphere as we dive into topic number one that you also, put on top and essentially let it compound with the efforts that you're doing?
So we call all of our sphere every quarter. We have a specific letter of the alphabet that we have every single week. So we have, I don't know if it's a calendar or a sheet, but it tells us every single week what letter of the alphabet we're calling, what letter of the alphabet we're sending a handwritten note to, what letter of the alphabet we're going and talking to them on social media, and then what letter of the alphabet is getting an email. So it's kind of rotated. So when my VA pulls all of that for each one of our agents, he goes into our CRM, goes into each one of our partners' database, pulls that letter out, and then he assigns tasks to our agents. Here's who you're supposed to call this week. Here's who you're going to send a handwritten note to. Here's who you're going to go send a message to on social media. So all of our partners know every week exactly who they're reaching out to in their sphere. So that way their sphere is always getting touched constantly. And then we also do client events. We usually do 4 client events a year. And then we invite our top clients to those events. We do items of value. We do pop buys. We do pies at Thanksgiving. We just did like an Easter egg hunt for our clients and had like a little petting zoo. So we do a lot of little things like that for our sphere.
I really like that. We've heard the client events, quite a few times. And then the sphere, I like how you are basically having a systemized approach to working the sphere. So let's say, if you only have 5 letter A's that week and you get through it, great. Now, what about those people that may not have a sphere? They just moved to a brand new area. They're just starting out, or they don't think that they have a sphere because they have, 500 contacts maybe on their Facebook or in their phone. How do you tackle that quote unquote objection, especially for the ones that are newer in the business?
Our partners have to have 200 people in their database when they join our team. If they don't, they have to build that within 30 days. If they get to day 30 and they only have 100, they have got to get to 200 by day 90 in order to continue to receive leads. So we have them go into their Facebook, add anyone from there, add their family. It doesn't matter where they live. That's what we always tell our agents. It doesn't matter if they live in California and we're in Texas, because we know agents in California. We know agents all over the world. So why would you not keep in touch with people in other states? Because you can still have a referral to an agent in another state or another city. I mean, so there's business to be had everywhere. So we have them add every single person they know. It could be from where they moved from. It could be anywhere. And then we give them scripts where they can call and say, hey, I'm in Texas. I know you're in California, but we just wanted to let you know that we have a network of agents that are amazing in your town. If you ever want to buy or sell real estate, give me a call and I'll connect you with that person. So it doesn't really matter where they live if they are not from that specific market. It does happen a lot. And we just kind of help them build that. They have to go to open houses and collect people's names. They have to go circle prospect and put everyone they talk to in the database. So you can get your list of names pretty quickly if you're doing the activities.
Yeah, one of the things that I really like that you said is you have a time frame and you have a goal that they need to reach. 200 people in the first 30 days. If they don't reach it, yes, it gets extended, but you don't tell them you actually have 90 days because it will take them 90 days to get to 200 people, right?
Exactly.
And then the other thing that I really like what you said is it doesn't matter if they're an agent or a broker, because the importance is that they're in your sphere, so you can make that referral, which indirectly, they're still part of that sphere. So one of the things, now that I'm kind of rethinking, definitely guilty of not doing this, is reaching out maybe to some of my old contacts from where I used to live, where it is a big state that people migrate. I'm in Florida, so from Pennsylvania to Florida, New Jersey to Florida is a big, moving state and relocation state. But I haven't really thought about it this way, that there could be other potentials other than, for the stuff that we do on pre-construction or that avenue per se. But that's good because you have something that's tangible, that's measurable, attainable, and you can hold people to that standard. You can very quickly know whether they're going to be a good fit for you and your team, right?
Yes.
Do you
And
let
if
them
I'm
go if they
talking to
don't have?
someone, sorry, what did you say?
I was just going to say, do you let them go if they don't have, like at 290 days? Like in my opinion, I run a team. It's kind of one of these things where it's like, if they don't do that, like they were supposed to do in 30, if they do it in 90, do you just let them go or do you work with them? I'm just kind of curious for the people running teams because everybody's a little bit different.
Yeah, it just depends on what they're doing. If they're producing, that's a different story. If they're not building their list and they're not producing and they're not setting appointments and they're not going on appointments, then we have to let them go. We have very strong standards, and we can talk about that a little bit, but we have no tolerance for anybody that's not hitting our standards. If they get to day 90 and they don't have at least 2 deals, we give them 30 more days. And at the end of that 4 months, if they haven't at least pinned 2 deals, we let them go because we've given them everything they need to get there.
Thanks for listening to this episode. If you would like one-on-one access to over 26 of the top agents in the country to help you scale your business, then head over to eliteagentsecrets.com/partner, or you can just click the link in the description below.